In September 2024, one of the worst floods in 30 years devastated the people of Borno State in northeast Nigeria. In the early hour of Tuesday, 10 September 2024, the Alau Dam collapsed. Alau Dam, a major water reservoir in Kunduga local government area, is about 15 kilometers south of Maiduguri. It was constructed in 1984 to suppress floods and also serve as a water source for irrigation and domestic use. In the wake of the 2024 flooding, authorities claim unusually high rainfall prompted the dams to collapse. But there were signs at least a month before.
Farming is the only occupation I do. I do it to feed my wives and 17 children. But the flood washed away all the millet, guinea corn, maize, and coffee. We worked so hard to grow, and the farmlands were completely washed away. Until this time, I have never missed the yearly rain feed and dry season farming.
Local in Alau says that over 300 people relied on the dam for subsistence farming. But this year, there is no much water for agriculture.
We are in a very dire situation. My farm and that of my husband were submerged on the day of the flood, and all our crops washed away before turning the land into desert. Our vegetable farm where we used to cultivate watermelon, onion, tomatoes and peppers were also destroyed.
Standing where his fertile farmland used to be, Usman Mala remember how the dam shattered before his very eyes. He blames government for not taking action despite repeated calls by the community. For many farmers like Usman, all that is left now is scorched earth and what now seems like a desert. The erosion swept the land clean. The United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, estimate that crops and food destroyed by the flood will have fed 8.5 million people for 6 months. This further deepens food crisis and hunger in the country. Fishermen who live in the Alau Dam area for decades are now fighting for survival. Many have succumbed to the threat of their livelihood and are migrating, making the situation even worse.
The water is draining away very fast, and no fisherman can do without water. That's why both the fish catchers and buyers are leaving the areas to other locations. More than 1 million people are tied to this dam for their livelihood, but more than 50% have now given up. We are waiting to see if this embankment project by the state government will yield results.
Bukar Ali, a resident of Bulabulin, says since the flood receded, his community has not had flowing water. He has had to buy drinking water.
We don't have water to drink. We have a reservoir here, but the water content has turned black. So we operate to use it. We now buy 25 liters of jerrycan at 100 naira. We can't afford to be buying the water at this cost. Let the government know our situation and fix the supply.
Since the flood water receded, we have not been seeing pipe-borne water from Alau Dam, and the boreholes built by the NGOs stopped working. Now, the commercial water is very expensive. We barely bathe our children once in 2 days, and the government has discouraged us from using stream water.
This means Mustafa will be spending 45,000 naira monthly for water for his household. This forces him to fetch water from the stream to wash his clothes and for other house chores.
Severe frustration while searching for water every day. Now I need 1,500 to 2,000 every day to buy a jerrycan of water from catfishers fetching from a long distance.
But as the water shortage intensified in Bulabulin, the government scrambled to salvage the city from drought. Some residents in nearby Gonge seems to get enough water to waste, obviously ignorant of the danger it portends. In an effort to stem the tide of spillage from the dam, the state government has been shipping truckloads of boulders, sand and gravels to block the seepage. Villagers and workers on site also painted a scary portrait of the grave implications and tragedy it could have on lives and the economy. Water from the dam support a large volume of food production. A hydrologist at University of Maiduguri, Dr. Musa Malam Aji, explained how the flood disaster impacts on water supply.
When you look at the dam itself now, there is also major issues that is concerning now. One, because of this flood has brought up a lot of silt sands, must have filled off the volume of the capacity of the dam itself. The dike has been broken. So whatever comes from the upstream of the dam, it will just go through the broken dikes and then dissipate somewhere. So there is the level of the water in the reservoir itself is diminishing, or it has diminished.
For decades, the structural integrity of Alau Dam has been tested, showing signs of impending collapse, but it was left unattended until it finally did. Despite the devastating impact of human life and environment, there are still no sign of a strategic plan to protect people and the environment. As the dry season hits hard, a new rainy season slowly creeps in, the question remains: have authorities learned any lesson from their inaction in the past? Or is history bound to repeat itself?